What's up, guys, and welcome back to In The Shop TV. If you're new to the channel, welcome back. If you haven't been here, this is my 55 Chevy truck that we've been working on the fuel system for the past couple of weeks. Today's episode is about building just a simple little bracket that, if done correctly, can keep my truck from bursting into flames if we have an accident. Guys, before we get into it, if you could take your mouse or your finger or whatever you're watching on and just hit that like button, I would really appreciate it. I'm trying so hard to grow this channel and I need all the help I can get. All right, let's get into it. So here at the back of the truck, I've got this vent line that's coming off of our tank. And then I've got another vent line right here that comes off of our rear end. It's got a little vent breather cap valve on it. The purpose of the axle breather is basically just that pressure can build up inside the axle tube, and you can wind up blowing out your seals if you don't have any place for the pressure to escape. So this is just kind of a loose fitting cap that keeps water and debris from getting in, but it will let all that pressure escape. The fuel vent hose basically does two things. It helps with expansion and contraction inside your fuel tank, and also helps with vapor as you pull from the tank. Now, I could get really simple and just put a breather cap on this fuel line, zip tie these two things together and zip tie them up here somehow, and we would be just fine. But I think going this far and doing everything that we're doing, I think making this a little bit safer and look just a little bit nicer is worth the effort. The safety part of that comes down to installing this. This is called a rollover vent, and basically all it is inside of this tube here is a check valve, or a ball valve rather, where if we have this mounted and our fuel vent line is attached here, and the truck should experience an accident or we have a rollover, that little ball seals the hole and prevents any fuel from coming out, and then prevents us from going up in flames. So while this isn't one of those Barrett-Jackson $250,000 builds, I do try to make things look nice and keep things as neat and clean as possible. So what I'm thinking is building a bracket that holds both of these vents somewhere right around here. I don't want to go up against the step notch because we have to run a fuel line from here down and up the frame. So what I'm thinking is mounting something maybe to the top of this bridge. I really don't want to put it there. I don't want it to be seen. And especially this bridge is set up to the point where if I ever wanted to convert to air ride, I kind of need to utilize this area for springs. So I just think I'm just going to, if I build a simple bracket and just tap this with two screw holes and mount both of them there, at least it's removable so that I can move it or move it down or up or to the side or whatever I want to do in the future. My initial thought is just a piece of angle iron that screws in here, comes down, and then comes out this way like a little shelf. And we'll have our rollover vent that is unscrews, and the top will be on top of the angle iron bracket. The tube will protrude out the bottom and go into our fuel line. And then the same thing applies with our differential vent. This is just a hose barb fitting, so we'll have another hole drilled in the bracket, and this will slip through the top, the holes will come up through the bottom, and they'll be secured that way. So I have just a simple piece of angle iron here that I have clamped up in our cold saw. I'm gonna go ahead and get this cut down. What I like about the cold saw is it makes cold cuts that you can handle right after you cut it. It makes a really clean cut, as you can see, but there's a little bit of just funkiness on the edges, so I'm gonna go ahead and clamp it up in the vise and just clean it up with the grinder. So I went ahead and put just a slightest bit of bevel on the corners and on the edges, just in case someone's working in that area and they happen to hit it, you don't get impaled in the knuckle. So I went ahead and marked two lines where I'm going to put our mounting holes. So using our rollover vent upside down for reference, what I'm going to do now is just mark the center of where this hole is going to be. And on this side, we'll mark the end. And we'll split the difference between the two, and that's where our center hole is. So in taking that rollover vent apart, you can see that little ball in there that I was talking about. And that'll just fall forward like that if you have a rollover. All right, so with all four of our holes marked, I'm gonna go ahead and center punch them as close as possible as I can. Go to this second step bit right here, which is a 1/4 inch, which matches our mounting hardware. I like using the step bit because it leaves really clean holes and it even kind of chamfers the top edge a little bit. So using the 2 holes that we made in our bracket, I just kind of transferred the marks over to our step bridge right here. So on second thought, I just erased those marks because I just realized I'm gonna have to stick my right angle drill to get in between these 2 step bridges right here, or I'm not gonna be able to drill that out. So I think a better option would be to mount it right here where I have all the room in the world to get a drill bit, and I can see a little bit more what I'm doing, and I think it'll make those hoses a little bit less scrunched up too when I go to route them. So I think this is actually a better option. So before I drill the frame, I want to go ahead and drill the holes on the other side of the bracket. This is our rollover vent. That is a 1/2 inch thread. So I went ahead and marked a 1/2 inch on the step bit, and I'm at 9/16 here. I might actually go to that just to give me a little bit of wiggle room if I need to make any adjustments. So I met just a little bit of resistance there past that 1/2 inch mark, and I can kind of fit the rollover vent in there, but it's a little bit snug, and I don't want to mess up the thread. So I think I'm just going to take this little file and just see if I can open it up just a tiny bit. All right, we got it now. Stupid brain fart on my part, but that's a tapered pipe thread. So as you can see, it's a little bit narrower here. We've got a 1/2 inch diameter here, and it's probably closer to 9/16. But I think that step bit was kind of wore out at the 9/16 mark, so I wasn't able to open up that hole all the way. But just a tiny bit more with the file, and we are perfect now. No slop, it's just a perfect fit. All right, bolt fits good. So I decided to roll with some 1/4-20 hardware and stainless with a lock washer on there. Leave that a little bit looser right now. Diff vent, I put a little bit of shrink tubing right there at the end of it. So I had to open up the hole just a little bit bigger because of the barb on the end of this. So take up that space, I got some shrink tubing. Gives it a nice snug fit. Just gotta catch our hoses from the bottom. So I'm putting the hose clamp on here, which will also act as a stop to prevent it from pushing that up and through. Try to bounce the vehicle a little bit, just make sure. Yeah, those hoses are good, they don't bind up or anything. What do you guys think? I think it's better than having just 2 hoses with plugs on them and having them zip tied up there. I think it looks a hell of a lot better. What we got to do next is where that fuel regulator is. We got to come off of that to a hard line, run it up those step notches, down, and then through the boxing plate where we have our pan hard bar mounted. where we can then have it set up to transition the hardline all the way up the frame. Guys, there's still time to win. We have this giveaway that's going on. We gave away 2 pairs of welding gloves in the end of November for Thanksgiving. We're still giving away 2 auto darkening helmets from Arccaptain. We're gonna have the drawing on December 24th, Christmas Eve. My way of saying thank you guys and Merry Christmas. All you have to do is go to that video where we run power for the 4-post lift. You have to be subscribed and you gotta comment in that video that you wanna be entered. As long as you're subscribed, you're automatically entered. There's not a whole bunch of people that did that, so you have a pretty good shot at winning. That's all I got, guys. A quick one for today. I'll catch you guys in the next video.